This is Esdras chapter 4. Then the second, who had spoken of the strength of the king, began to speak. Gentlemen, are not men strongest who rule over land and sea and all that is in them? The king is stronger. He is the Lord and Master, and whatever he says to them, they obey. If he tells them to make war on one another, they do it. If he sends them out against the enemy, they go and conquer mountains, walls, and towers. They kill and are killed, and they do not disobey the king's command. If they win the victory, they bring everything to the king. Whatever spoil they take and everything else. Likewise, those who do not serve in the army or make war, but till the soil, whenever they sow, reap the harvest, and bring some to the king, and they compel one another to pay taxes to the king. And he's only one man. If he tells them to kill, they kill. If he tells them to release, they release. If he tells them to attack, they attack. If he tells them to lay waste, they lay waste. If he tells them to build, they build. If he tells them to cut down, they cut down. If he tells them to plant, they plant. All his people and his armies obey. Moreover, he reclines and eats and drinks and sleeps, but they keep watch all around him. No one may go away to attend to his own affairs, nor do they disobey him. Gentlemen, why is not the king the strongest, since he is to be obeyed in this fashion? And they stopped speaking. And then the third, that is Zerubbabel, who had spoken about women and the truth, he began to speak. Gentlemen, is not the king great? Are not many men? And is not wine strong? Who then is their master? Who then is their lord? Is it not women? Women gave birth to the king, and to every people that rule over the sea and land. From women they came. Women brought up the very men who plant the vineyards from which the wine comes. Women make men's clothes. They bring men glory. Men cannot exist without women. If men gather gold and silver or any other beautiful thing, and they see a woman lovely in appearance and beauty, they let all those things go, and they gape at her, and with open mouths, and they stare at her, and they all prefer her to gold or silver or any other beautiful thing. A man leaves his own father, who brought him up, in his own country, and cleaves to his wife. With his wife he ends his days, and no one thought of his father or his mother in this country. Hence you must realize that women rule over you. Don't you not labor and toil and bring everything and give it to women? A man takes his sword and goes out to travel and rob and steal and to sail the seas and the rivers. He faces lions, he walks in the darkness, and when he robs, steals, and plunders, he brings it back to the woman he loves. A man loves his wife more than his father and his mother. Many men have lost their minds because of women. They become slaves because of them. Many have perished or stumbled and sinned because of women. And now, do not believe me? Is it not the king in his power? Do not all lands fear to touch him? Yet I have seen him within a pain. The king's concubine, the daughter of the illustrious Bartacus, she would sit at the king's right hand and take the crown from the king's head and put it on her own head. And she would slap the king around with her left hand. At this, the king would just gaze at her with his mouth agape. If she smiles at him, he laughs. If she loses her temper, he flatters her that she may be reconciled. Gentlemen, why are not women the strongest, since they do these such things? Then the king and the nobles began to look at one another to speak about the truth. Gentlemen, are not women strong? The earth is vast, the heaven is high, the sun is swift in its course, for it makes the circuit of heavens and returns its place in one day. Is he not great who does these things? But truth is great and stronger than all that. The whole earth calls upon truth, and heaven blesses her. All God's work quakes with temple, and with him there is nothing unrighteous. Wine is unrighteous, the king is unrighteous, women are unrighteous, all the sons of men are unrighteous, the works are unrighteous, everything's unrighteous. There is no truth in them. In their unrighteousness they will perish. But truth endures and is strong forever, and lives and prevails forever. With her there is no partiality or preference, but she does what is righteous instead of anything that is unrighteous or wicked. All men approve her deeds, and there is nothing unrighteous in her judgment. To her belong the strength and the kingship and the power and the majesty of all ages. Blessed be the God of truth. He ceased speaking, and then all the people shouted and said, "Great is truth, the strongest of all." Then the king said to him, "Ask what you wish, even beyond what is written, and we'll give it to you, for you have been found to be the wisest. And you shall sit next to me and be called my kinsman." And he said to the king, Remember the vow which you made to build Jerusalem in the day which you became king? You were to send back all the vessels that were taken from Jerusalem, which Cyrus set apart when he began to destroy Babylon, and vowed to send them back there. You also vowed to build the temple, which the Edomites burned when Judea was laid waste by the Chaldeans. And now, O Lord, the king, this is what I ask and request of you, and this befits your greatness. I pray, therefore, that you fulfill the vow, whose fulfillment you vowed to the King of heaven with your own lips. Then Darius the king rose and kissed him and wrote letters for him and for all the treasurers and governors and generals and satraps, that they should give escort to him and to all who were going with him to build Jerusalem. And he wrote letters to all the governors in whole Syria and Phoenicia and to those in Lebanon, and to bring cedar timber from Lebanon to Jerusalem and to help him build the city. And he wrote for all the Jews who were going up from the kingdom to Judea for the interest of their freedom, that no officer or satrap or governor or treasurer should forcibly enter in their doors, that all the country which they should occupy should be theirs without tribute, and that the Idumeans should give up the villages of the Jews which they held, that 20 talents a year should be given for the building for the temple until it was complete, and an additional 10 talents a year for burnt offerings to be offered on the altar every day in accordance with the commandment to make 17 offerings. All that who came from Babylonia should build the city and have their freedom, they, their children, and all the priests who came. He wrote also concerning their support and the priests' garments in which they were to minister. He wrote that the support for the Levites should be provided until the day when the temple should be finished and the Jerusalem built. He wrote that land and wages should be provided for all who guarded the city. He sent back Babylon all the vessels which Cyrus had set apart, everything that Cyrus had ordered to be done. He also commanded to be done to be sent to Jerusalem. When the young man went out, he lifted up his face towards heaven, toward Jerusalem, and praised the King of heaven, saying, From thee is the victory, from thee is wisdom, and thine is the glory. I am thy servant, blessed art thou who hast given me wisdom. I give thee thanks, O Lord of our fathers. And so he took the letters and went to Babylon, and told this to all his brethren, and they praised the God of their fathers, because he had given them release and permission to go up and build the temple, which is called by his name. And they feasted with music and rejoicing for 7 days.